Okay, all right. Well, welcome back to the summit. I'd like to welcome myself. So I'm going to give 3 tips, and all of you know me. So I figured since I'm hosting my own summit, I can give a presentation. So I'm pretty excited about this. So I've got 3 tips, and I've got a slide presentation here. Let me see if I can call it up. And it works. So I got to share the screen. Can see myself in a little window there, and Real Estate Mastery Summit. So let's see if we can move forward. Top 3 tips. So here's my first tip. What I think is a good idea is you can create your own mastermind group or join one. And the power of the mastermind group. This is from Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And a definition here, a coordination of knowledge, move this up here, in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. Now, I think the good size for a mastermind group is about 5 to 6 people at the most. You meet on a regular schedule. You can do it once a week, twice a month. I think maybe when you start out, I know a lot of you are busy, you could do a mastermind group and just do it once a month and meet on the first or second Monday of the month and do like an hour and a half, 2-hour meeting. And the great thing about doing this today, I couldn't have done this years ago when I was doing mastermind groups, and I should probably do one too, is that you can do it online. So like, for example, a Google Hangout, and you could do it for free. I'm using Zoom, and I think I pay like $150 a year to get this program. And I'm using Zoom to do all my video interviews for the summit. But you can do a Google Hangout and do a video meeting, and you can all be there together. And you can have people from all over the US, Canada, the world. We're not limited by geography because of the online resources that we have today. So when you do a mastermind group, you can create an agenda and issues where you feel you need help. You can have a hot seat where one person in the group will talk about their situation, their issues, where they need help, and you can have a hot seat be for like 15, 20 minutes. You could have a common goal that you're all trying to attain, and you can kind of review and see where you are in respect to that goal. The key is everybody contributes. You want to be in a mastermind where you have 5 or 6 people and everybody contributes in the meeting. You hold people accountable. You work together. You cooperate, contribute, and basically the focus is everybody gets better. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to get better. And the power of the third mind, and this is the definition from the book, out of the harmonious blending of the chemistry of the mind creates a third mind. And he had this kind of up here, that can be appropriated and used by one or all of the individuals. It's basically, 2 minds are better than one. You create this energy, people working together. I have felt it, it does work. It's like if you do a brainstorming session with a couple of people and you're talking about an idea and everybody kind of throws out random thoughts and random suggestions. And then over time, one of them is going to click. And the other thing is, like, have you been to Sedona, Arizona? And I've been to Sedona. They got these huge rock formations, really beautiful. We just went on a cruise recently, and we saw some Mayan ruins. So you can feel the vortex. And I felt the vortex in Sedona. And it was really cool, kind of a power that makes you feel good, positive. And I felt it a little bit at the Mayan ruins. So what you can do is you can reach out and connect with some of the other attendees here. You can reach out and connect with people on social media, people that you know on Facebook, people that you know on Twitter. The key is if you're going to create your own group or you're going to join a group, you want to be with other people who are kind of similar in you and your career path. you have the same kind of goals and aspirations, what you want to do with your business, and try to get people that are at or above your level. So for example, I've been in the business, 12, 13 years, and it's not going to be as effective for me to be in a mastermind group with a new realtor who's just starting out in their first year. So if you're a first year realtor, you want to try to find somebody who is relatively new like yourself, somebody who's very success focused, they want to do well, and then that could be where you could push each other and you can learn from each other. And commit to your mastermind group at least for 6 months, ideally for a year, and meet on a regular basis. And you need to attend every meeting so you're a part of it. Maybe a good start is do 90 minutes, do it twice a month. And like I said, maybe you can do it once a month. Once a week, I think, is a little bit challenging for us as realtors because we're so busy with our schedule. Things come up, like this morning, I had to talk to somebody moving here from out of state. And we were on the phone, had a good kind of preliminary meeting, but that lasted an hour and 20 minutes. And, usually they last about 30 to 40 minutes. So I wasn't able to go to the gym today because I wanted to record, this presentation. So if you have a weekly meeting every Monday, it might be challenging based on our schedules. Now, I did mention earlier that you can join another mastermind group. And one of the hot trends lately is that people are charging anywhere between $500 to $2,000, $2,500 a month to create a mastermind group and bring in other people. So for example, if I wanted to, and I don't think I would ever do that, maybe I create a mastermind group and I could bring in 8 relatively new realtors and I could charge you $500 a month to be a part of this mastermind group. Now, if you want to do that, if there's groups out there that are really hot and you think you can learn a lot from it and you're willing to pay that price, by all means, it's up to you. But I feel that you can create your own group with people that you know through social media, through Facebook, whatever, and you could do it for free. The only cost that you're going to have is maybe for the technology and just the time that you commit to it. And so that's really all you need to do. And so, do it. I think it's a good idea. Create your own group and you can learn from other people. And it's a good way to get other ideas. The great thing about today is that you can create a group like this. You can have a realtor from Toronto. You can have a realtor from Florida, California, Arizona, New Zealand, Australia, Colorado, and you can all be together. And you're not in competition with each other because real estate is local. And I know when I started in 02, 03, and I would ask some other realtors in the office for tips and stuff, and they'd be kind of guarded and they didn't want to share any ideas with me because I was their competition. And I've never felt that way even with other agents in my office because most of the business we do is through our sphere, through our niche, whatever we focus on. And so this is a great time to create your own mastermind group. And if you haven't read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, you can get it at the library and read it. Very interesting and a lot of good ideas there. Maybe that could be the first topic that you do in your new mastermind group. You all read Think and Grow Rich. And I know a lot of groups, they read it every year, So you could read it even if you've read it again because that book has a lot of information. And every time you read it, you're in a different stage of your life and you're going to get something out of it. Okay, tip number 2. And this is something I've been giving a lot of thought to, and I had different titles here. But I think tip number 2, it's not your fault. And I want you to know that. It's not your fault, okay? So let me go into this. So as realtors, when we're helping our customers, our buyers, our sellers, we're working through transactions, we're working through deals, we're working through getting the listing, helping a buyer. Things are going to happen, right? Bad things happen in our business, bad in the sense that we can lose a deal, whatever. And when bad things happen, we blame it on ourselves. We feel bad. We apologize to our clients. We feel we're not doing our job. I want you to get past this. Don't ever apologize to your clients. Focus on what you can control. Whatever is going to happen will happen regardless of what you do. You have a listing, the buyer terminates a week before the closing on loan objection. That happened to me last year. Your buyer terminates contract per inspection. That happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. Your buyer's offer is not accepted, right? It's a very competitive market. 10 offers, your buyer's offer is not accepted. That's happened to me, okay? Get my little arrow thing out of there. You have a listing. The buyer terminates one day after the contract is accepted. That happened to me the year before. Cash buyer, the buyer said, okay, she didn't want to move forward with it. We negotiated all the night before. The buyer changed her mind, said she wants to buy her property up in the mountains. What could we do? Things happen, right? The famous saying, right? It happens. You can't control your clients. Now, I know in years past, I will try to negotiate in such a way, and I would give advice to my buyers because I didn't want to lose that deal. I wanted that deal to stay intact. So you want to negotiate rationally rather than being emotional. So that way you're not buying into the transaction and you're not feeling so emotional about it. And I've done this, the last couple of years, and I know last year I really focused on doing this, and it just helps me so much. You don't make decisions for your clients. I've talked about this many times before. We don't make decisions for our clients. We help them. We give them the information that they need. We give them the advice. They make the decisions. And then don't persuade your customers to make choices. It is what it is. Maybe they ask your opinion on something, and a lot of times if they ask me something, I'll feed it back based on the criteria they've given to me before, if it's a buyer or a seller, whoever I'm helping. Things happen, right? Just a quick list here. All these things happen, okay? It's a part of our business. I had a listing that I just closed on last week, and we went through 2 buyers, and one of them terminated 2 weeks before the closing because of loan objection. Very, very frustrating. And then this one we just closed on, we had so many hurdles to get over with the inspection, the appraisal. I mean, it was a real battle. And it was really, really hard. But I didn't feel bad about it because it wasn't my fault. I didn't say, to my sellers, I'm so sorry that this happened. Because why should I say that? Why should I apologize? Because it's not reflective of me. I was not contributing to that, whatever happened, right? If a buyer terminated, it wasn't because of me. So I just step back. I don't get emotional, and I don't let my, the blame game get me, and then apologize to my clients. It's a lot less stressful for me now. I mean, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. It's going to work out in the end. It always does. And then I don't put myself through the ringer. Being a realtor can be very emotional, right? We put so much undue stress on ourselves. And I see this with new realtors, and I see this especially with realtors who've been in the business a lot of years. They hit a bad stretch and things happen. They start blaming themselves. They start feeling bad. Don't do that, because that way, I can go to sleep at night. I can feel good with the realization that whatever happened, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. And like I said, it takes a toll on you when you're being so emotional, and it's just not worth it, because we have a good life. We have a good job being a realtor, so don't let it beat you down. Now, here is what I want you to say to yourself all the time. It's not my fault. It's not my fault, right? How many times do I have it written here? I want you to say it. It's not my fault. Say that to yourself, because when things happen, 98% of the time, it's not going to be your fault. And all of us that are here at the summit, 99% of the realtors out there, we're professional. We're doing our jobs. We're getting help from our managing broker. We're following the guidelines. So we're doing what needs to be done. So if something goes wrong, it's not our fault. Remember that. I mean, there's two movies that are all based on that line. Ordinary People and Good Will Hunting. Remember Robin Williams going to Matt Damon? It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I mean, that was the payoff in the movie, right? And then suddenly Matt Damon is cured and he feels good about himself. And it was the same thing. I felt it was better done in Ordinary People with, Timothy Hutton's character and what happened to him, right? He had a bad situation. And what he did, it wasn't his fault. Things just happen. And that's the same way it is in real estate. I feel this is the best advice I can give to you because emotionally we put ourselves through the ringer. I mean, I see people in my office. I'm communicating with people in email. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I had this and I feel so bad. And oh, my buyers, my sellers, and gosh, I can't believe this. And then they just really kind of get down on themselves and then they say to their sellers or their buyer, I'm really sorry this happened. Don't apologize because it's not your fault. Okay? Take that advice. Maybe you write that on your computer and say, it's not my fault. Okay, here is tip number 3. So what is motivation? It's really interesting. I've read so many books. I've attended a lot of seminars over the years. I've listened to a lot of audio tapes and, Nightingale Conant. I was a huge Nightingale Conant junkie back in the day, probably had 30, 40 audio tape series. And, I went to a lot of seminars and workshops and people be like, yeah, let's go there. Let's get motivated. Let's get pumped up. What I feel is that, what is motivation? And just some quick questions here, right? What do you want to achieve? What is important to you? Not anybody else, not your spouse, not your significant other, not your parents, not your friends, not what others expect of you. What is important to you? What do you want? Now, when you look at motivation and you look at the definition in the dictionary, when you look at motivation, this is the definition. I always love when they have a word and they use the subset of that word in the definition, right? The act or process of motivating somebody. Condition of being eager to act or work, the condition of being motivated, okay? So that doesn't really help us here, right? Now, if you look at the motivate definition, to give someone a reason for doing something, to be a reason for. Now, I think this is pretty good. But if you dig deeper and if you look at motive, something as a need or a desire that causes a person to act. Now that is it, right? That is motivation at its core. Something that is a need or a desire within yourself that causes you to act. Now, where does motivation come from? It comes from within. No one can motivate you. If it's to be, it's up to me. So no matter how many seminars you go to, how many tapes you listen to, and people are trying to, rah and cheer you up, it has to come from within. No one can motivate you except yourself. Now we make a choice. If we want to choose on something to act and to do, it's a choice that we make. Now I could talk about motivational stories about what I did in my life to get to this point. We could talk about sports stories and things that people go through. It has to be your own choice and what is important to you. What is your desired result? And when you have that in your mind, then we do whatever it takes to attain that result. But it's our desired result. We choose that. Now, how can you get to that point to choose what is important to you? Self-reflection, asking yourself some of these questions. What is your legacy? What do you want to leave behind? What are you creating? If you die today, how will you be remembered? It's your life. Are you living your life to your full potential? It's a Wonderful Life. We've all seen that movie. Help me, Clarence. I want to live again. I want to live again. Now, unfortunately, some of us have already died while we're still living. We just live a life of routine, and we're not pushing ourselves, and we're not utilizing all of our talents and our skills and our abilities. We leave a lot of who we are on the table untapped because we're not pushing ourselves. So if we want to have a desired result, choose a desired result that's going to stretch you and push you to become a better person. When I look back at my life and when I've attained significant goals, when I've done something that I'm very proud of, I stretched myself. I worked hard to get to that point, but it was very important to me. It's not like my wife came and told me I had to do it, or my boss came and told me, or my parents, or whoever. It was something that I chose and I worked towards. And that's where you have to break out of your routine and be able to choose something that is important to you. In the movie Lord of the Rings, Gandalf has that great line, all we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us. Be thankful for the time that you have. Some of us are getting older. I'm over 50 now. And when we get to that life stage, we start losing people around us, family, friends. It's very hard, right? We go through situations where maybe we're ill, we get sick and then we realize, life is so short. We realize what we were doing before. What was I doing? Why was I wasting all my time doing that when I could have been doing something more significant and meaningful in my life, right? So think about that. And I know a lot of you have lost family and friends. Some of you might be going through something right now personally. And so it's a wake-up call. So I want you, if you're kind of on autopilot and you're kind of living a life of routine, take a step back and identify what is important to you and what do you want out of your life. Make a choice. Live your life to the fullest. Have no regrets, right? You hear about older people and they talk about when they look back on their life, the regrets that they have, the regrets of not doing something, the regret of not taking a chance, the regret of not pushing themselves further. Be the best you that you can be. One of the things that I do, I love listening to music. I love visualizing my future. And, I can't do it here in the summit because of copyright issues and stuff. But, I'd love to be able to play some of the songs that have great meaning to me and pump me up and give me time to reflect. I listen to OK Computer by Radiohead. I love that. I love that album. And it just gets me thinking. I've got great ideas listening to that. So maybe you could take a break, a 30-minute break during the week, lie down, put in the earbuds, and just listen to the music, reflect, take yourself to where you want to be, visualize your future. And that is a very good exercise that you could do. Okay, so there are my 3 tips. The Mastermind Group, it's not my fault, and what is motivation? And take these to heart because I think they will help you. Here's my resource. So I'm the speaker, so I get to pitch some of my stuff. So a lot of you know my book, The Honest Real Estate Agent, on Amazon. A lot of you bought it, so thank you. I have another book on Amazon, My Time, My Life. And that's a book that I wrote for my daughters. And it kind of fits in with some of what I was talking about with what is motivation, my podcast. And then I've got a new course. So for those of you who are new, or maybe those of you who want some advice on how to help buyers. One of my strengths as a realtor has been helping buyers over the years. So I've created a course. So you can check it out, thebuyercourse.com. So let's do it together. I'm so happy that you're here, a part of the summit. I'm so happy that I get to present and share my thoughts and ideas. So I'll be talking to you soon. Oh, let me go ahead here, say goodbye on my face here. So thanks again for coming, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, bye-bye.